So, video editing. Out of everything I do in regards to this YouTube channel, probably my favorite thing is the video editing aspect. I love it. I've been doing it for more than 10 years, and when a company called Movavi, who also sponsored this video, reached out to me to try out their video editor, I could not say no, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to compare it to what I normally use, which is Kdenlive, which is a free and open source video editor. So my question is the price of a video editor like what we're about to cover actually worth it in comparison to something that's free and open source? So starting off this video, what we're going to do is overview the software. And while we kind of go through things, I'm going to be comparing it to my workflow in Kdenlive, because there are definitely some advantages and disadvantages to the software. And as we go through this, you're going to primarily notice that if you are new to video editing, this is overall magnificent, but if you're somebody who has spent many hours in something like Adobe Premiere Pro, Kdenlive, DaVinci Resolve, this might not be the best thing for you. But let's go ahead and dive on in. First over here, you will notice that it has the same general layout as most video editors, but over here, these tools, they've done really good at organizing things that you're going to want to go for. So this first little section here is our import or our media bin. So we have our media bin, we have all these different sound effects that you can go ahead and use with the software that download from the internet. We have various music, sample videos, backgrounds, effects packages. So one thing you'll notice is they have a lot of different extra things that you could go ahead and add, but I'm going to be talking about the effects packs and things like that a little bit more in a minute. The main thing is file importing. It's very easy, and you can record, capture screencast, record audio, and do a quick video import through here. You can add files, and you can see I have a bunch of different files here. Importing is very easy, so if I just imported a random thing, such as this little screen recording of Zoran, hit import, and it drops it in here. Now one thing that's kind of nice is it gives you these little green checks if they're already used on your timeline. That's helpful so you know whether or not if you've used something like me. I never go through and actually rename video files, so seeing that I actually already have these on the timeline is very beneficial. And before we go ahead and check out some of this other stuff such as the filters, transitions, titles, things like that, let's go ahead and check out this on the bottom here. You can see it's very visually appealing. One of the things that I was not a fan of, you can see how right here my audio tracks are separated from my video. That's because I use this microphone, and generally if I'm not using OBS, I record audio separately. And you can link them. You can see down here we have this little link button that says detach track. So these are technically attached, but when you do any kind of manipulation, so if you hold down shift, drag, you have to select both of the clips like that to do any cuts or edits or anything like that. Whereas this is an OBS recording, so the audio is integrated into the video. And with this, if you go ahead and select only this clip, it selects both of them. It would be nice if you could go ahead and incorporate or group the audio with the video as if it was an original, but that's one of my real only grievances with this software. One of the things I really did like about it was, let's go ahead and skip over to transitions. There are a ton of different transitions. When you do a transition in like Kdenlive, you have to properly layer the different video inputs so then it has enough to work with to make that transition. And there's really not much transitions to choose from. There's typical wipes, slides, dissolves, things like that, and they don't always work the best. That's why I usually just stick with the simple cuts. I do a dissolve here and there, but not much. But this software handles transitions very, very well. For example, if I go ahead over here and let's mute this real quick so you guys don't get the feedback. You can see I have two different transitions here. Let's just go ahead and play this real quick. You can see we have the slide and the video glitch. Let's watch that one more time. And this software does a really good job about handling effects. Unlike Kdenlive where you have to kind of layer things over, you just drop things side by side. And if you've been watching my videos as of recently, I've been using this to edit a couple of them. You'll notice that I've been using the heck out of this glitch effect. I think that is awesome, especially for the kind of content I do. That's something that's really cool. And over here in effects or the transitions, you can see all the different categories and all the different effects we have. And it comes with a lot that you can use, but you could always download more. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. But honestly, what it comes with is more than enough, such as the Glitch 3. And if you go ahead and click on any of these effects, it will give you little previews. So you see the offset, we have the zoom in effect here, a lot of cool different stuff, and it's really easy. Just put the clips together, put the effect on it, and you're done. So doing transitions like that is very easy, and you also have other ones such as parallax, artistics, fades, blurs, geometric. A lot of these are kind of cheesy. I personally wouldn't use them. I really like the glitch ones, and the slide effects is what I commonly use, as you saw with like this one. If I click right here and go to this preview window, you have some control, so you could play. You can go to the next frame, or you can go to the next clip. So this will completely skip to that next clip, and you can see the effect there. And if I click it again, it'll jump over to the next clip, to the next clip, and I could go back, and it's really easy to navigate footage in here. Now another thing this does pretty well is effects. So you can see this is the video I did with the Manjaro throwback, and I did this kind of old school looking effect. If I go ahead and double click on this footage, you have some clip properties, so you can change the speed, fade in, fade out, reverse it, so just completely play the clip backwards. But if I go under applied effects, you can see some of the things I have going on here. I have a crop effect, which cuts off the sides. I have the old movie retro, and then you can set the intensity of the effects. So I have 43, 6% for scratches, so there's just a little tiny bit of action going on. And then the tube TV low. I applied this effect because I pretended like I was recording this in 2011. And some of you guys, I hope you were joking, but it seems like some people thought that this was actually recording from that period. So that shows you how well these effects can work. And just a little example of the effects, let's go over here to a clip that doesn't really have much effects, which would probably be this right here, because it's back to 2021. And let's go ahead and apply some effects to it. So if we go over to this little effects section here, you have a bunch of different ones. You have blur, flying objects, color filters, and like with the transitions, you could go ahead and click on something and it'll kind of give you a preview. A lot of these are things that I don't think anybody would actually use at a professional level, but they do have a lot of different things that you would actually use, such as this broken lens effect is pretty cool. You can add motion blur after the fact. If I go over to light leaks, you can see different lens glares and lens flares and stuff that you could add. So there are effects that you would actually use. Now this is nice because if you're new to video editing and you don't know how to go in and apply these manually in something like Kdenlive, or even if you're in the Adobe area, something like After Effects is where you'd want to apply some of these effects. It's a lot of really nice presets, and like I said, you can set the intensity. For example, if I go over to retro, this is some of the effects that I used. And so if I click old movie 70s, for example, you could see it kind of change the colors. This is the scratches effect, and you can see how intense that is. If I go ahead and actually apply that to this clip, so to do that, we're just going to drag and drop it on in there. And then when I play through this, you can see all those different scratch effects there. And that's a little too much for what I was trying to do earlier. So to fix that, I would just double click on it, go to applied effects, and then I could lower that down significantly, so then the effect isn't as intense. So overall, the effects are really nice. In Kdenlive, to do effects like that, I generally use like keyframes, and they do have some things like blur, various color grading and color correction, things like that. For what I do, what's in Kdenlive is more than enough. But if you're somebody who, like I said, is new to video editing, and you just want some of these cool effects at a drag of a mouse, it's pretty cool. Now next up over here is titles, but we're actually going to come back to that. They have stickers, so this is pretty cool. You could do like arrows to kind of highlight something, or if you're doing a screencast, you could use an arrow to point to something if you'd like to. They have more stickers in the store, obviously, if you'd like that. Thumbs up, like, so if you're like doing a YouTube thing. For example, if I click this, it should give me a little preview, which is just a sticker, so it's going to be static. So let's drag this over here, for example. And we do have some motion control and things like that. So we could go ahead and drag this and move it around our screen. And then under motion, we actually do have tracking options. I'm not going to do that because there's not really anything to track, but you can do some light tracking stuff in here. Now, when I was using this over the last couple weeks, where I spent the most of my time was here under more tools. This is kind of what we have in Kdenlive, where you have like animations, overlays, crop, and rotate. So for example, if I select this right here, double click on it, go to applied effects, you see we have crop and logo. Logo just is what automatically puts it up small in the corner. It's kind of generally easier to do that. If I select crop, we can see here how I have it cropped. So if I wanted to, I could uncrop that, and then we can go ahead and rotate it a little bit, or you could completely flip it on its side if you need to move something upside down or something like that. Set that to 0, apply, and we have a lot of different options here, such as animation. Now, one of the reasons that I really like Kdenlive is the keyframing within Kdenlive is absolutely fantastic. It's very similar to Adobe Premiere Pro when it comes to the actual keyframe, editing, animations, applying effects, things like that. Like, one of the most common effects I do in Kdenlive is where I have a screenshot or something slide into frame and kind of do a little zoom in slowly while the background is blurred, and then that will slide out and the background will go to normal. All that except for that initial slide is done with keyframing in Kdenlive. And doing something like that in this is definitely possible, but if you're used to keyframing and all that, Kdenlive is definitely better with things like that. But for example, let's say I wanted to apply an animation. Here we have slides, leftward, rightwards, you have balloons, you have tumbleweed, you have all kinds of different kind of silly things that you probably wouldn't use, but then they have things you would use, such as leftward here. If I applied this, you can see down there it has a little arrow. And for example, if I went ahead and set it right here, you can see where it starts and ends. So if we run through, you can see that clip shoots to the left. We could grab that and move that around if we would like to. So then it takes longer, and this is similar to how keyframing works, but not exactly. But over here, we could go ahead and add a keyframe, which then that will give us some more control of the movement and how it actually works. So now if I go ahead and do this, it's going to quickly go over here, and then it's going to slow down to finish the effect. So there is some very light keyframe control, but definitely not to the extent of a professional video editing software. But if you're somebody who's not used to doing that anyway, this is going to be more than enough. Additionally, they have some stabilization tools. You have the overlay. So selecting this, what I used was logo, which kind of gives you that little windowed effect there. You could obviously do this with other effects just by moving it around, but it's easier just to drag and drop that over there. One thing that's really nice, I already have the audio synchronized in this, but if I go down here to audio editing, you have a couple different things such as synchronization. If you select two audio clips that are the same audio, but like one is from this camera and one is from the microphone, and you want to synchronize that, you just select both clips, hit synchronize, and it does perfectly. In Kdenlive, you kind of have the same thing, but you have to right click, set an audio reference, and then go to the other one, right click aligned audio. And sometimes it's not perfect, so you end up having to move it a couple frames over to line it up. But in this, I haven't had any issues where I had to go in and do some minor edits after the fact. Overall, it's worked fairly good. We have equalizers, noise removal. I haven't tried the noise removal because my audio, in my personal opinion, is fairly well. I have no other noise in here. Then you have audio effects. So if I selected this, and then you have like muffled, telephone, high pitch, robot, all kinds of things to really add to your effects. And another thing is the titles. Now these are all intro videos. This was from a pack to a key they gave me. I'm not too sure how much it costs. There it is. So this is the pack that they gave me. For personal use, it's $24. For commercial use, it's $50. And there's all kinds of little packs like this if you want to spend the money, or if there's really good ones. If you get like a commercial license, you can use it on like YouTube and things like that. But for example, this trendy intro set they gave me is all of these. So like here under no signal, you have something like this. That's not really the best example to advertise it, but like something like visualization here. This is one of the effects that you could go ahead and grab. So one that's pretty cool is this glitch one right here. This would be really nice to use as like a YouTube video intro or even an outro. It's a tech channel type thing. So they do have a lot of different packs that you could go ahead and go through and try out if you would like to. And obviously they have ones that just come with the software. So like you have fly-in text that you could go ahead and use. You have like this diamond one that you could go ahead and use. And a lot of them are pretty cool, nice little title effects that you would be very difficult to do if it wasn't already a pre-done kind of animated effect here. They have this one, which is like a Western style thing. So they got some pretty cool things over there. Now, those are all the effects and the transitions and some of the editing things that you could go ahead and do. Actually, working in this is pretty nice. If we go down here, what I really liked is some of these. For example, one of the ones right here is this disable or enable gaps. If I enable gaps, then that gives me the freedom to kind of move clips around however I want. But if I want to go ahead and disable that, like that, it will automatically disable all the gaps on that main track. And that's really nice for somebody like me when I do videos like this. I'm constantly like stopping, taking a breath, and thinking about what I'm going to say next. So I do cut out a lot of little sections. And in Kdenlive, I have to do the right click, remove space, and then it slides over. In this, it's automated, so that's really nice. So that really is the basics of this video editor. If I was somebody who ran Windows all the time and wanted something that was really simple with pre-made custom effects that I could just go drag, drop, and make pretty good looking videos pretty easily, it's something I would go for. Personally, I'm going to be sticking with Kdenlive just because that is what I'm used to. But if you are interested in downloading this, there is a 7-day free trial, so there's no watermarks or anything like that. So you go ahead and try it out if you would like to. I pinned a comment down in the description with a code if you want it on discount. But do not fret, I will also link to Kdenlive so you can go ahead and try out that video editor if you would like to as well. I have a video of me, the only Kdenlive video I have up right now is me showing how to do the little circle picture-in-picture effect if you're interested in that. But with all that said, big thank you to Movavi for sponsoring this video. It definitely helps out the channel. And thank you for you guys for watching this video and supporting me as well. With all that said, like I said, links are down in the description. I hope you all have a beautiful day and goodbye.